So you want the perfect biceps? I can do that for you, but I'm going to show you how to do it with the perfect bicep workout. Actually, not just one, but two. And it starts here with our first exercise. And with that, guys, I will caution you that it's never just what you do, but how you do it. So stick with me here because I'm going to break down exactly how to do what we're doing so that you can walk away with a plan for those perfect biceps. And we start with the barbell strict curl into a cheat curl. Now, this must be the most classic barbell combination that I ever did that is highly responsible for the biceps that I built. And I started this at about 13 or 14 years old, and I used it for the rest of my life. And the reason why is because it works. And what we're basically doing is, you can see with my back up against the wall, removing any of the momentum and forcing the biceps to do the work. It's the first rule of getting a muscle to grow is to make it actually do the work. And I take it to failure using a 6 to 8 rep max weight. Okay, as soon as I reach failure, I'm not done. And that's one of the main concepts I don't want you to ever overlook. You can not just train to failure, but through failure. And when you do it in a way that over-exaggerates the eccentric portion of the lift that you're doing, you can get even greater gains. And that's where we go into the cheat curl. And with the cheat curl, yes, I am using some momentum to get the weight up to the top after doing those strict repetitions, but only to put me in position to do another eccentric lowering. And what that does is it puts more strain and stress in a good way on your biceps, and it's probably the thing that was most responsible for getting me to grow. 2 to 3 sets, 6 to 8 rep max for this first exercise. Then we move on to the dumbbell cross-body hammer curl. So now if you want to develop an upper arm that's impressive, then you want to make sure that you're working on the brachialis also. And my favorite way to do it is not just with a typical hammer curl done in this neutral position, but to actually flip them completely over into a fully pronated position, which happens with the cross-body hammer curl variation, that now kind of maximally turns down the activation of the biceps because we're not supinated, we're in their opposite position. And what that will do is force more of that other arm flexor, the brachialis, to do more of the work. And what's key here is that as this muscle develops, it gives you that noticeable width in the bicep. So when people look at you from the front, they feel the shirt sleeves and they look like there's some upper arm thickness. And a lot of people complain about not being able to see that. It's probably because you're not doing enough dedicated brachialis work, and the dumbbell crossbody hammer curl is my favorite way to do that. 2 to 3 sets of 10 to 12 rep max failure here. Again, we say form failure each arm, which is what FF stands for. Then we go into our third exercise. Now, you've probably heard about the importance of the stretch position for making a muscle grow. You may have heard too much about the importance of the stretch position in terms of making the muscle grow, so much so that people give you really ridiculous looking bicep exercises that don't really merit the positioning that you're putting your body in to do them. You don't really need to do that much. What you need to do though is get your elbow back behind your body and get it into a position where when you extend your elbow, you're going to get more of a stretch on the biceps. And we do that with something called the cable stretch drag curl. Now, Vince Gironda was popular for creating the drag curl done with just dumbbells or a barbell in space, but I think you're a little bit limited there in terms of the stretch capacity because you're not getting the arm back behind your body when that barbell hits up against your thighs. But when we do it this way, again, the how, not just the what, when we do it this way, you're getting the benefit of that stretch. And what's really nice about this is when you do your 2 to 3 sets, taking them all the way to failure, you don't have to stop at just failure. Again, you can continue to rep out, in this case, some partial repetitions so that you get to and through failure, where again, I believe the true growth lies. And again, some will disagree with the importance of that. I believe it's highly important if you want to see your best growth. And then we end this workout with one set of something called the Menser pull down. Now, if you're not familiar with Mike Menser, I would suggest that you go look up some of his older work because he was one of the first guys to really push the concept of high intensity training. And in an offset to that, you didn't have to do a lot of work, but you did have to be willing to work hard. This was the exercise he claimed was the most effective bicep building exercise you could possibly do. And there was a variation, as you can see here, of the close grip underhand pull down. What I would caution you here is not to try to use your lats on the exercise, and he didn't want that either. I want you to actually feel as if you're pulling the bar down or curling the bar down. So you can achieve this by leaning back a little bit and leading with the hands. Okay, not with the elbows, but lead with the hands. Try to pull the bar back down towards you. And we perform this as something called a trap set. And what's key about this is it increases the amount of tension and the time that you are under tension, which leads to a much greater growth stimulus. And we do it with one set of 10 reps. Now, how am I doing this? You can see there's a weird cadence going on. You basically do the first rep at a cadence of down to 1, up to 1. Then the second rep is down 2 seconds through the concentric and up for 2. And as you can see here, down for 3, up for 3, down for 4, up for 4, down for 5, up for 5. Now when you reach the top of this pinnacle here at 5 seconds down and 5 seconds up, now you have to do another one of those repetitions. And this is where we get the trap set from, because it kind of goes in this trapezoidal fashion here. Up to 5, one more to 5, and then you work your way back down. 4, 4, 3, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1. That one set is all you're going to need here. You use a weight of 12 to 15 rep max to get the job done. It's brutal, but it's a great way to end this workout. And that, again, is the first of 2 bicep workouts, which leads us, obviously, to workout number 2. Now, I know for some of you might be thinking, there's no way I'm going to be able to remember this. That's why you're going to watch this video 44 times, which would help me out. No, actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually hook you up. I'm going to give you a way to get these workouts so you can take them with you to the gym. All right? I'm also going to give you a specific breakdown of how you can schedule them no matter how you're training right now, but that's after we go through this specific workout. And this second one here starts off with one of my favorite exercises of all time, and this is the first one I ever did. So I said from 13 I was doing the strict curl, cheat curl thing. From about 8 years old I was doing the chin up. And I was doing this on field day with the flexed arm hang, and I won every single time. And then you should start to learn how to do this too, because this is where you will start to build some pretty massive biceps, controlling your own body weight in space. And you're going to use a weight that causes failure in the 6 to 8 rep range. And sometimes I think people don't look at it that way. You want to do this right? Add weight if you're capable of doing higher repetitions. Use whatever weight is required to bring you down into the 6 to 8 rep range. And when you're done, again, you're not done. Because I want you to strip away that weight, or in this case, if you never had to use weight to go in the 6 to 8 rep range, you're just going to jump back up onto the bar or put a box in front of the bar and walk yourself up to get yourself into the next position at the top, and then eccentrically lower. It's the same concept that we used in the cheat curl, strict curl combination we used before. Here you're going to walk yourself up to the bar, lower slowly, step up again, lower slowly, to the point where you really can't control the speed of that negative repetition. Then you'll know you've fatigued that eccentric component of the biceps and that set is over. Right? 2 to 3 sets here of this combination. Again, back to my roots, this is the most effective thing I ever did, and it started with this combination, and it paid off really, really well for me. The next exercise that you're going to do is the dumbbell spider curl. So there is a difference. As we talked about before, the stretch position of the biceps. There's always a difference between the peak contracted state of the muscle and the stretch position of the muscle. And I think there's benefits to both. Despite what some might say, there are definitely benefits to the peak contracted position of a muscle. The dumbbell spider curl does that. It puts you in that peak contraction of the muscle because it gets your shoulders flexed at the same time that your elbows are flexed and your forearms are supinated. And when you get to the top there, you can actually see they're in the position of most resistance because they're most perpendicular to gravity. Well, that's going to provide a great growth stimulus because you have high resistance at a point of peak contraction. It's a unique stimulus. It feels good, and again, most of all, it works. 2 to 3 sets using a weight that causes failure in the 10 to 12 rep range. Again, we're putting that FF, that's form failure, meaning when if you can't recognize the exercise anymore, then it's time to stop that set. You should still recognize it as a spider curl. The next exercise up is going to go back to that other side of the equation now, back to the stretch position. And here we do a classic dumbbell incline curl. Now, there's a few things that you can do here to accentuate the effectiveness of this. Number one, why is it a stretch-based exercise? Because once again, the arms are back behind our body. How can we accentuate that stretch a little bit more? By contracting the triceps at the bottom of every repetition. You can see I'll actually definitively try to contract my triceps, which we know will get the biceps into a greater stretch, from which I can then rebound out of that. Some will actually say with even more forceful contraction because of that stretch, to get a better repetition done in every one of these. And again, here the rep range is still 10 to 12 reps, but we can do some additional work here. Just like we did in the last workout, we can crank out some additional partial repetitions. This time they're occurring more in that stretch range of motion, which again leads to higher levels of tension. But you take that to failure, crank out a few additional partials at the end of that for more of that to and through failure phenomenon, which can actually lead to, again, better gains. And then we go and we wrap up the second workout with the standing dumbbell curl done once again as a trap set. Now again, the concept of the trap set is that it's a time under tension technique that intensifies the effect of the exercise. Again, 1 set is all you need here, up to 10, using that same cadence of 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, all the way up to 5 and back down with a weight that's 12 to 15 rep max overall. So So now how do you do both of these workouts where they actually will make sense? Well, I provided you with a full breakdown of the science and rationale for having 2 workouts in a week in our perfect chest workout, which actually kicked off the entire series. You're going to want to check that out over here once this video is done. I actually put a link at the end of the video. But when we talk about the 2 workouts, you want to spread them apart by about almost 3 or 4 days. All right, so the first one could be on a Tuesday, and the second one would be over here on like a Saturday. And again, the specific days don't really matter as long as you're spreading them out so you have the chance for recovery. Now, if you are following the perfect workout series and you've been following along right along, then this would actually allow you to pair them up with something else. In this case, I would suggest that you pair them up with the back. And this entire schedule and the breakdown of all these workouts is available right here on this channel. Make sure you subscribe and make sure you follow each one of these so you can get the benefit if you're going to do this as a complete workout series. If you want to do them as a one-off workout, then by all means, you can do them that way too. Now, when it comes to the workouts, guys, I didn't expect you to actually memorize them. I was actually joking. That's why I'm giving you these screenshots so you can print them out and take them with you to the gym. Both workout number 1 and here workout number 2, ending once again with that last exercise here, the standing dumbbell curl as a trap set. And by the way, if you're looking for an amazing 10-minute bicep workout that utilizes these trap sets, you're going to have to try that, guys. I actually put myself through the pain. It's right here. Go check that out right now. Remember, subscribe, and full programs available over at ATHLEAN-X.com. See you soon. You got to try that.